What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and today I have an update to my Floowandereeze deck profile. I have changed this deck up a fair amount from the last time I profiled it, so I'm not even going to bother going over too much here, and we're just going to jump straight into the deck profile. And if y'all don't know, I like this deck a lot, so yeah, be ready for a little bit of passionate talk for this deck. Just kidding. Talking about, starting us off, we have 3 copies of Floowandereeze and Robina. Robina is your 1-card, full combo kind of deal. When Robina is normal summoned, you add any level 4 or lower winged beast from your deck to your hand. So, immediately, it's like this rotates your entire board. And then all of the level 4 and lower Floowandereeze monsters, which they're all level 1, whenever they leave the field, they banish themselves, and then they have when you normal summon a winged beast, add them from banish back to the hand. So we're gonna skip over that effect and really only talk about the individual effects. So Robina, like I said, searches out your entire deck and can search out some points of interaction that you can board into. Next, we're on 3 copies of Floowandereeze and Eaglin. Eaglin searches any level 7 and higher. Yeah, level 7 or higher winged beast from your deck to your hand. This grabs you all sorts of interaction, all sorts of fun cards to play around with. And then wrapping up the level 1s, we are on 1 Floowandereeze and Talkin, and 1 Floowandereeze and Stree, because you really only need one of them. In my previous list, I was playing 2 Talkin, but through testing, I found that 1 Talkin is more than enough. And what do? Well, Stree banishes a card out of your opponent's graveyard on normal summon, and then Talkin can grab one of your banished Floowandereeze monster or Floowandereeze cards from banish back to your hand. And then to wrap up the Flu monsters, we are on 2 copies of Floowandereeze and Empen. Whenever Empen is summoned, he can grab any Floowandereeze spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And he's also skill drained for attack position special summon monsters. So he turns off link monsters. He also has an not really an honest effect, more of he has an attack manipulation effect. By banishing a card out of your hand, you can have the attack of the monster he battles. So really, really good. And that is the typical Flu monster lineup. Now let's get into the spells and traps for Floowandereeze. Starting us off, we have 3 copies of Floowandereeze and the Magnificent Map. Map is amazing. You can reveal a level 1 Floowandereeze in your hand, banish a Floowandereeze with a different name from your deck, and then you normal summon at the resolution like most Floowandereeze monsters do. And then if your opponent normal summons, you normal summon. So it's not their turn, it's our turn kind of deal. So that's all Map does. It's it's definitely the better card to have, and you want to see it in every hand ever. And to help you with seeing it in every hand ever, we are on 3 copies of Floowandereeze and the Advent of Adventure. This card is a little expensive, but it's a mandatory card to play because you can banish a Flu or banish a winged beast monster from hand or field to either add a Floowandereeze monster from your deck to your hand or add a Floowandereeze field spell. Excuse me. And then you gain 500 life points. The 500 life points thing doesn't matter, but being able to use this as a terraforming is really, really nice. And then Map is also just really nice to always have. And then we're on 1 copy of Floowandereeze and the Unexplored Winds. This card is just walking Monarch's Stormforth. Yes, it is Stormforth. But instead of just tributing monsters, you can tribute your opponent's back row for your tribute summons. And it also has an effect where you can reveal any number of winged beast monsters in your hand, or reveal up to 2 winged beast monsters in your hand, put them on the bottom of your deck, and then draw the same number of cards. Really, really good card. And then for the final Floowandereeze spell trap, we are on 1 copy of Floowandereeze in the Dreaming Town. Floowandereeze in the Dreaming Town, you flip it up, it lets you normal summon, and then you do your combo on your opponent's turn if you don't have map. Simple as that. It also lets you set up some monsters that we'll talk about here in just a moment. And that is it for the Floowandereeze cards here in the deck. Now we're going to move on to our generic stuff, and then after our generic stuff, we're going to talk about the hand traps that we are playing. Starting us off in the generic monsters, we have 1 copy of Mist Valley Apex Avian. This is an Omni Negate, which I want to address something really quick. I've been seeing comments on my test hand video for this deck. Somebody was talking about how it's not just, oh, how it's, you don't just sit on M-Pen, you also do the, and I'm like, I'm aware, but your end board on your first turn is M-Pen pass with back row. That's what I meant when I said you just sit on M-Pen. It's also kind of one of those smart remarks that I make. I am very smart-mouthy. So, there you go. This is also something you can set up on your opponent's turn, but the one that you typically want to go for on your opponent's turn is Rise of the Mega Monarch. It spins 2 cards, spins a card your opponent controls and a card out of the graveyard back into the deck. Really, really solid cards, both of these. Avian, you kind of want to set up off of map, and then Ryza, you want to set up off the trap, because if you have the trap but you don't have map, Ryza is just better to go for in that situation, because then you can activate it at a very crucial point. You stack your opponent's deck and put another card back into their hand, and if you only tribute wind monsters for his summon, he gets to spin a 3rd card. And I'm gonna lump the spells up here as well. We have 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. You're never summoning out of the extra deck in this deck. Ever. Not a day in your life, because all the Floo monsters lock you out of being able to special summon. So we have 3 Prosperity in here to help us dig through the deck and find our combo pieces. We also have 3 copies of Pot of Duality in here to do exactly what I just talked about, and that's dig through your deck. One of the first changes to the list is I am now on main deck 3 copies Book of Moon, because Book of Moon protects you from Imperm, Veiler, and some other forms of interaction. And then we're also on 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent within the main board, because it's just really good being able to brain control something, or being able to just Pot of Greed. Really good. Another card that I am playing now that I was not playing in my previous list is 3 copies of Harpy's Featherstorm. Featherstorm, really, really strong. Just tell your opponent, hey, you're not allowed to play the game this turn. So we have 3 Featherstorm in here, and that is it for the generic. Give me just a moment. And I am back. And now all we have left for the main deck is the hand traps. And we are on 3 Ash and 3 Shifter. Simple as that. Just 3 Ash, 3 Shifter in the main. This is really all you need. All you need. Shifter really shuts off your opponent, and if your opponent manages to get over M-Pen, you can always grab M-Pen back with Toucan, but you also play the second M-Pen as well for recovery purposes. The extra deck, I'm not even going to really go over. It's, like I said, you're never summoning out of this. This is like a little bit of my Lyrilusk one, because I was like, oh yeah, you could tech in the Lyrilusk monsters and whatnot, but this is also for Dogmatic, a spell book for the most part as well. So like I said, not going to even bother going over that. However, we are going to go over the side deck, because the side deck matters. Starting us off on the side deck, we have 3 copies of DD Crow. Because this is a searchable hand trap in this deck, you can grab it off of Rabina during a follow-up turn. You can also grab it off of Rabina if you already have Eaglin in hand, and so on and so forth. Then we are also on 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird, because Droll and Lockbird is also one of the better hand traps. I just couldn't find the room to squeeze it into the main deck, so it's here in the side deck just as a temporary little placeholder kind of deal. Then, well, I say placeholder, but it's not really a placeholder. It's in here because I just couldn't fit it in the main. Then we're on 2 copies of Lightning Storm, because Lightning Storm helps us break through boards. And, well, gives our opponent something to negate that, we don't want them. Or gives our opponent something to debate negating, since we don't want them negating our Rabina. Then we're on 2 copies of Crossout Designator and 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Not really important cards, but they're good enough to play in the side. And then for the final spell in the side, we are on 1 copy of, or on that 3rd copy of Talents. And then for the last card we are playing in the side is 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. So there you have it. This is my updated Floowandereeze deck for the current format. We have our board breakers. We have our, relatively useful cards. Give me just a moment to reorganize everything, and I'll be right back with the outro. Alright, guys. That's going to be it for this deck profile. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button down below. And without further ado, I just want to let y'all know, have a wonderful day. And let me know what you guys would change about the list. I had a hard time making some minor changes before the video, but I managed to do it. I managed to figure it out. And here we are. And like I said, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.